Racing is brutal. Most champions fall, a few endure, but only a rare handful finish with a spotless record. Across centuries of competition, just 23 racehorses have retired undefeated, leaving behind legacies that have defined what legendary means on and off the track. In this video, we're counting down 15 of the most dominant, fearless, and flat-out untouchable horses ever to grace a track. From the dusty turf of the 1700s to modern-day missiles, these legends didn't just win, they made history by refusing to lose. Let's kick off the countdown with a horse that went 12 for 12. Starting off the list at number 15 is Asteroid with 12 wins. 12 races and 12 wins. And not a single rival could touch him. Asteroid came from Lexington, the most dominant sire of the 19th century, and a mare named Nebula. His owner, Robert A. Alexander of Woodburn Farm, kept him running during the chaos of the Civil War, often near active battlefields. Trained with precision and raced with confidence, Asteroid tore through the southern circuits, beating seasoned horses with ease. At his peak, injury sadly ended the campaign. A fractured leg forced him off the track in 1864, but not before he sealed a perfect record. He stood at stud afterward, passing on some of his fire, though none of his foals matched his streak. Asteroid died in 1886, long before the sport exploded nationally. The next one up? She finished with something extra every time. Coming in at number 14 is Personal Ensign with 13 wins. Every race she entered ended the same way, with her crossing the finish line first. Personal Ensign retired undefeated after 13 starts, including a jaw-dropping win in the 1988 Breeders' Cup Distaff. That day, she chased down winning colors in the final seconds to seal a perfect career. She came from elite bloodlines, sired by private account out of Grecian Banner, and was trained by Hall of Famer Shug McGaughy. Bred and owned by Ogden Phipps, she brought precision and toughness to every stride. After retirement, she produced My Flag and Storm Flag Flying, both Grade 1 winners. In 1993, she earned her spot in the Racing Hall of Fame with no losses or missteps. Personal Ensign died in 2010 at age 26, leaving behind a record that still draws nothing but respect. Now let's go back in time to a runner who made quiet domination look effortless. Next up, Barcaldine is at number 13 with 13 wins. Silks never got dusty when Barcaldine ran, because he always brought them home clean. This Irish-bred stallion went unbeaten in 13 starts, racing in the 1880s with strength that silenced even the toughest critics. He came from Solon and Ballarrow, and his stride told the story of power built from bone. Early lameness delayed his debut until age 3, but once he hit the turf, nothing got past him. After dominating in Ireland and England, Barcaldine retired with a flawless record. He never had the chance to prove himself in the classics, but his reputation didn't suffer. At stud, he more than made up for any missed opportunities. He sired Derby winner Marco, and became a key part of the Godolphin Arabian sire line. Barcaldine died in 1893, never beaten and never tested twice by the same horse. Europe had many greats, but one colt came along and changed racing bloodlines forever. At number 12, make way for Nearco, who won 14 races. Breeding barns changed forever when Nearco hit the turf. Bred in Italy by Federico Tasio, this coal-black colt won 14 out of 14 before retiring in 1939. Undefeated, untouched, and barely challenged. He came from Pharos and Nogara, and ran like he had somewhere more important to be. His style combined stamina with explosive acceleration, a blend few could match. Trained by Tasio himself, Nearco dominated the Grand Prix de Paris, Derby Italiano, and Grand Prix de Milan. He then retired early to avoid risking his perfect record. What followed at stud was nothing short of dynastic. He sired Nasrullah, Royal Charger, and Nearctic, the line that gave the world Northern Dancer. Nearco's impact on modern pedigrees is massive. He died in 1957 at age 31, leaving behind not just an unbeaten record, but a bloodline that reshaped global racing. Before crowds and cameras, there was a turf king who made winning look easy. Holding court at number 11 is Highflyer, who claimed 14 victories. No rival ever got close enough to test him. Highflyer ruled the 18th century British turf with 14 straight wins, retiring unbeaten in 1779. He was the son of Herod out of Rachel, bred by Sir Charles Bunbury, and later owned and raced by Richard Tattersall. Racing back then lacked today's prestige circuits. But Highflyer crushed every challenger thrown his way, from Newmarket sweeps to King's plates, across changing weather, surfaces, and distance. Speed wasn't his only weapon. He ran with intelligence, responding to pressure with cool command, and a stride that never broke rhythm. After retirement, he became Britain's leading sire for 15 straight years. His offspring swept through English classics, extending his influence far beyond his campaign and into the bloodlines of future greats. Highflyer died in 1793 at the age of 20. Fast forward a few centuries, and this horse didn't just win. He left jaws on the floor. Taking number 10 is Frankel with 14 straight wins. Frankel never gave anyone a chance. He burst out of the gate fast, took control early, and stayed in front. From start to finish, he won 14 out of 14, leaving no doubt in any race he touched. Trained by Sir Henry Cecil and bred in Great Britain, he came from racing royalty, Galileo, and kind. Big races weren't just wins. They were wipeouts. He crushed the 2,000 Guineas, the Queen Anne Stakes, and the Juddmonte International without ever being caught or even threatened. Timeform gave him the highest rating ever, 147. When fans watched him, they cheered in disbelief, knowing they were witnessing something rare. Frankel retired in 2012 at the top of his game. At stud, he passed on that same force. His foals include major winners like Soul Stirring and Chaldean, continuing the storm he started. Thanks for sticking around this long. If you're into stories like these, hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more coming. All right, let's keep going. This next colt ran through pain and still never gave up an inch. At number 9, meet Colin, who bagged 15 wins. Colin raced with a limp, and still no one beat him. This American colt won 15 out of 15, finishing his career in 1908 without a single loss. Bred at Castleton Stud and trained by James Rowe Sr., he came from Commando and Pastorella. His stride was long, powerful, and smart. Colin dominated as a 2-year-old, then swept the Belmont Stakes at 3 with a lingering injury that would have sidelined most. Fans called him untouchable as his success earned him Horse of the Year and a place in the Hall of Fame. Retirement came early due to injury, and his stud career fell short of expectations. But none of that changed his perfect record or erased what he did on the track. Unfortunately, Colin died in 1932, leaving behind a record still hard to believe. History remembers dominance, and this next horse delivered it across borders and blew past Europe's best. Claiming spot number 8 is Ribot with 16 victories. Ribot didn't race. He ruled. Bred in England and trained in Italy by Ugo Penco, this Bay powerhouse won 16 out of 16 between 1954 and 1956. His sire was Tenerani, his dam Romanella. He crushed top fields across Europe, including 2 straight wins in the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe, both by daylight. His blend of stamina, balance, and raw power was rare. He won and broke spirits, shattering expectations wherever he ran. Ribot retired undefeated and became one of the most influential stallions in Europe. He sired Mulvado, Tom Rolfe, and many more. At stud, he moved from Italy to France, and then to the US, shaping bloodlines on both sides of the Atlantic, with lasting impact. Though he died in 1972, and his body was buried in Kentucky, his name still carries weight across every racing nation. Some horses race to prove a point, others clear the field before the gates even open. At number 7 is Prestige, who raced 19 times and won them all. Prestige didn't draw crowds. He emptied fields. Trainers scratched before the gate opened. Between 1903 and 1906, he ran 19 races and won them all. Prestige came from Le Pompon and Orgueilleuse, and was trained in France with quiet precision and relentless focus. He raced under the colors of William Kissam Vanderbilt, an American-born tycoon who built his reputation in Europe through horses like this one. Prestige never ran in the English classics, but that didn't matter. He beat older horses, heavy favorites, and fresh challengers, race after race, on every surface thrown his way. His dominance forced changes in how horses were entered against him. At stud, Prestige delivered more than just names. He passed on power, soundness, and class to future champions. He died in 1924, long before the modern racing world took shape, but not before leaving his mark. The next horse didn't chase fame, he just kept winning until there was nothing left to prove. Slotting in at number 6 is Ormonde with 16 perfect wins. Crowds called him the horse without a flaw. Ormonde won 16 straight races between 1885 and 1887, including England's Triple Crown, 2,000 Guineas, Epsom Derby, and St. Leger. He came from tough stock. Bend Or and Lily Agnes. Trained by John Porter and owned by the Duke of Westminster, Ormonde raced with strength and grace, even while battling a breathing issue that would have sidelined most. His Derby win came with ease, and his St. Leger finish was a 9-length blowout that sealed his legend. After retirement, he stood at stud in England and later in Argentina, where breeders hoped lightning would strike twice. He passed on class, stamina, and presence, though few sons matched his dominance. Ormonde died in 1904, unbeaten and still ranked among the finest to ever run in 19th century Britain. Time to leave England. Let's head east to meet a legend with perfect precision. At number 5 comes Cariel with 18 wins. Rivals came for glory, but Cariel turned every race into a lesson in control. Turkish racing underwent a significant shift when he stormed through 18 straight wins between 1973 and 1976. Born from Prince Tudor and Linda, this chestnut force carried speed like a fuse and focus like a blade. Trainer Sadi Eldon and jockey Ekram Kurt formed a partnership built on precision. In 1974, Cariel swept the Turkish Triple Crown, Derby, Ghazi Race, and Presidency Cup without strain or stumble. Tracks filled with fans eager to watch him pull away from the field. He retired with a flawless record, the first to reach that level in Turkey. His legacy continued at stud, shaping future champions with the same steel. Even after his final bow in 1997, Cariel remained the standard every contender aimed to match. We're now rewinding it to where it all began, when perfection and dominance were born together. Marching in at number 4 is Eclipse with 18 victories. The race was over before it began. Eclipse won and rewrote the meaning of dominance. Foaled during a solar eclipse in 1764, he ran 18 times and crushed them all. No horse ever came close. Most were beaten before they reached the paddock. Bred by the Duke of Cumberland and later owned by Dennis O'Kelly, Eclipse descended from Marske and Spiletta. His stride was long, light, and relentless. His speed came easy and his confidence never shook. He debuted at age 5 and never needed a whip. Crowds watched in silence as he'd often win by 20 lengths with no effort. After retirement, he became the most important sire in racing history. Nearly 90% of today's thoroughbreds trace back to him. Eclipse died in 1789, and his skeleton is now displayed in England. The phrase, "Eclipse first, the rest nowhere," came from him. Centuries passed before anyone came close, but this mare built a record all her own. Number 3 belongs to Pepper's Pride, with a total of 19 wins. New Mexico raised and claimed Pepper's Pride. She stepped onto local tracks and never let a single horse past her, not once in 19 starts. From 2005 to 2008, she ran clean, strong, and smarter with every mile. Joel Marr guided her training from start to finish, while Carlos Madeira rode her in every race. Zaya Park and Sunland Park became her home turf, her stage, and her comfort zone. Bred from Desert God and Lady Pepper, She wasn't chasing fame and was always the first to reach the finish line. Stakes win after stakes win piled up, each one sharper than the last. Crowds grew, expectations rose, and still she delivered. No flash or shortcuts, just a mare that knew her job and did it better than anyone else. Retirement came with a perfect record and a cult following. Pepper's Pride died in 2019, but her story still wins hearts. From small tracks to world stages, this next horse brought speed into execution. In the second spot, say hello to Black Caviar with 25 wins. Speed met certainty every time she left the gate. Black Caviar ran 25 races and won them all. Her streak rewrote sprint history between 2009 and 2013. Bred in Australia from Bel Esprit and Helsinge, and trained by Peter Moody, she made big races feel like parades. Her burst was instant with perfect timing. She left top sprinters behind before they found their rhythm. Fans roared, jaws dropped, and nothing ever managed to catch her. She claimed the Lightning Stakes 3 years in a row, then flew to England and took Royal Ascot. Bruised, tired, and still unbeaten, she delivered pure power and total control from gate to wire, leaving nothing open to doubt. She was a 3-time Australian Horse of the Year, National Treasure, and a Sprint Queen. Call her what you want, it still won't match the run she gave us. After retirement, she joined the broodmare ranks and passed her fire to the next generation. Everything you've seen so far is impressive, but what comes now doesn't belong in the same category. It presents something racing had never seen before. And reigning at number 1 is Kingsum, who delivered 54 straight wins. Perfection has a name, and it ran wild across 19th century Europe. Kingsum holds the unbeaten world record with 54 wins from 54 starts between 1876 and 1879. Bred in Hungary from Cambuscan and Water Nymph, she started as an overlooked filly but turned into a force. She crushed colts, broke records, and embarrassed the biggest stables in Austria, Germany, France, and even England's finest. English trainers dismissed her as a curiosity until she showed up at Goodwood and beat their best on their turf. Her routines were quirky: daily beer, raw eggs, fresh milk, and a pet cat that traveled with her. But once the gates opened, she became all power, stride after stride. After retirement, she produced 5 foals and passed on her durability. Kingsum died in 1887, but her record still stands flawless, unmatched, and almost mythic. And that's the list. 15 undefeated legends who showed up, lined up, and kept a clean sheet. No rematches, no maybes, just straight-up dominance. If you thought that was thrilling, wait until the finish line gets messy. Tap the next video to watch the wildest horse race endings ever caught on camera. It's drama, chaos, and photo finishes all the way.